Hi, my name is Porter, and I'm a writing specialist with the Daytona State Writing Center. This is part 2 of my short series, How to Convert an MLA 8th edition paper to APA 7th edition. Now, the focus of today's video is going to be the conversion of several common citation styles in students' papers, including books, web pages, online newspaper articles, and online journal articles. Now, APA does have a very consistent citation format, which is generally who, when, what, and where. That is to say, almost all citation entries are going to have the who, which is the author of that entry, the when, which is when that entry was created, the what, which is the title of the work, and the where, which is the location that it was published and where you can find it. Now, this is also information you can normally find in your MLA citations, so I'm just going to show you how to convert them easily, simply with these templates, which I will upload alongside these videos for you to use in the classroom as you are converting your own papers. So for book citations, what we're going to do is we're going to locate the author, which in this instance I have an example listed under the template. And the author in this example is Toni Morrison. Now, one of the differences between MLA and APA citations is that in MLA, generally with authors, especially when there's only one or two, you will be spelling out their entire name last then first. For APA, you will actually only spell out the entirety of the last name and then abbreviate to one letter, the first letter of the first name, and if a middle name is present, you will also abbreviate the middle initial. So for Toni Morrison, we're actually going to type in Morrison T instead of Toni. Another difference between APA and MLA, again, is that the year actually comes directly after the author. It is the when. So here we can see that this edition of the book was published in 2004. In parentheses, after the name, we're going to put that year. Now, if we had a more specific date, which we will in later citation entries, we will actually be including as much of that date as we have. But for this, we only have the year, so we will only include the year. Next, we are going to do the title of the work, which is Beloved in this one. So Beloved, a novel. And this is going to be italicized, just like it is in MLA. Now we're going to make sure it's out of italices for the next one. And now the next thing we're going to include is the location. So here we have the publisher is Vintage International. And unlike MLA, you do not need to specify that this was print. If you had found this online, so it was an ebook or digital in a way, you would include the link, but if you did not get it online, if it was a print book, you will not include the fact that it was print. And it's that simple, you know? So we have the who, Toni Morrison, the when, 2004, the what, Beloved, a novel, the title of the novel, and the where, which is Vintage International. So we're going to apply that logic again to our next common citation, which is web pages. So web pages, we're again going to be looking for the author, the date of publication, the article's name, and then the location, which in this instance is going to be the URL. So up here, I have another citation, and all of the information that we need we can find in this citation. So we have the author's name, which is Stutter J, because again we want to abbreviate the first letter of the first name instead of spelling it out. And this time we actually have more than just a year. We have the entire date that it was published. So we're going to write it out as 2010, March 31st. The year is always the most important aspect of the date in APA. This is because most APA papers focus heavily on research, which needs to be up to date. Because of this, the year is almost always going to come first and be the priority. After the year, we write out the entire month, so no abbreviations, and then the day. Once we have that, we can move on to the article's title or the title of the page, depending. So the title of this page is Why Internet Connections Are Fastest in South Korea. And we are also going to italicize this. The placement of italices, bolding, quotation marks, and other miscellaneous changes are going to be something you're going to want to double check in your APA handbook or online to make sure that you are doing correctly between citations. This instance, we are going to italicize. Now, the last thing we need is the location where you got it. So you're going to type out retrieved from. Again, make sure that the italices does not carry over outside of the title. Retrieved from, and then we're going to copy the URL, and we're going to include it at the end. And as you can see, we actually have less information in this APA citation than we had included in the web page MLA citation. We cut out the time that it was retrieved, and we also cut out that it was from CNN News. Because all that really matters in this instance, because you are citing a website, is where you got it, what it's called, when you got it, and who wrote it. Again, we're going to move on to an online newspaper article. And just like the others, we're focusing on the 4 major aspects: who, when, what, and where. So, unlike the last one, this one we are going to focus on the publisher, especially when it is a news website. So, because of this, we're going to look for the who. In this instance, it's Harryan Kang. So we're going to do Kang, H. And then we're going to find the date of publication. So 2018, comma, April 12th, unabbreviated. We're going to make sure there's a period after that. Then we're going to move on to a local's guide to Seoul. In this one, we are actually not going to italicize the name of the article. Instead, we're going to italicize the name of the publishing press. In this instance, it would be the Washington Post. We can find that information right here. So we're going to type it out, then we're going to italicize it. One of the differences between APA and MLA is often that APA puts a period after almost every article inside of the citation, whereas MLA relies a lot on commas. So, as you can see, after every instance of an article of information inside of this citation, we have a period. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the retrieved from once again, because this was an online web article. So, and then here is the URL. So, as you can see, with all of these so far, the information that you need to make an APA citation is present in the MLA citations. You just need to be able to locate it and then transpose it from this to this. Alright, the last one I'm going to show you guys today is the online journal article. This one gets a little bit more complicated, but it does follow the same format that we've been going over. Now, the important thing about this is that you have the information about the journal at hand. This might require you saving the journal's location and the DOI. So when you make your APA citation for an online journal article, I'm going to move this on to the next page. We're going to start it off just like every other way. We're going to find the author. So Poiger, so P-O-I-G-E-R, comma, U-G. And this is an instance where we have the middle initial, so we are going to include it in the citation. But again, we're not going to spell out the name, either the first nor the middle, only the last. The next thing we're going to include is the year that it was published. So, as we can see here, the year that it was published was 1996. That's what we're going to include here. We don't have the full date, so we're not going to add the full date, just like our first citation with the book. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the article title, which in this instance is The Cold War Battle Over German Identities. One important thing in all citations, and especially in these entries on your references page, is to make sure that the title matches the case of the title that you are quoting. So if everything is in lowercase, you're going to want to make sure everything's in lowercase and vice versa. In this instance, over was not capitalized in the actual title on the journal article, so we're not capitalizing it here either. This is another one where we do not italicize the title of the work. Instead, we're going to italicize the title and name of the journal. So this one is going to be the Journal of Modern History. Third series. And here we're writing series because we don't actually have the volume, we have the series instead. So after that, we're going to include the issue number. In this instance, it is 68. And then we're going to include the pages that we're referencing. So unlike MLA, where you sometimes just write the page numbers out or you write P, you're actually going to write P twice. So P, P. You don't want them to be capitalized. And then you're going to do the page range. Then you're going to put a period. Now it is after this page range that you would be putting either the DOI number of the journal article that you're referencing, or you would put the URL where you can access this journal article online. This is not something that we have in our current MLA citation. It is something that you would have to look up on your own or retain, so save somewhere so that you can add it into your APA citation. The last thing we're going to go over today is we are going to work on converting our Intext citations. So, like I said earlier, APA really values years. And that shows also in our Intext citations because we are going to be including the year that the work that we are quoting was published from. One of the big differences between MLA and APA, however, is that MLA normally has your entire citation here at the end of the sentence, but in APA, if you state the author's name leading up to the quote or as a part of the quote, then you can actually delete it from the end of your citation sentence. What we're going to do instead is find where the author's name is stated and put in the year that the work that you are quoting was published directly afterwards. And then here at the end with the citation that's left over, this is the page number that we quoted it from. We're just going to put in a P, and that's going to denote the page. If you do not state the author's name in the sentence leading up to the quote or the paraphrasing, you're going to leave it at the end, and you're just going to put the year that it was published, as well as the P to denote page number, at the end as well. So these are the two different types of common citations for in-text citation. You have the name of the author with the year and then the page number at the end, and then the name of the author, the year, and the page number. That's going to do it for today's MLA to APA conversion video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a better understanding of how to convert your citations and your paper from MLA 8th edition to 7th edition APA after watching these videos. Thank you so much.